Ancient library discovery. Bigger than Alexandria. Experts count 84,000 manuscripts, and there is more. 10,000-year-old scrolls on stars and human origins. This is the focus of all my work. Star maps and human origins. And then the cover-up. I show the little Dalai Lama here because he's a big part of the story that's unfolding. And we've got to get to the bottom of it. It's really important information. Okay, the story has one big shocking discovery, which is the library. What happened to it? Where did all the works that are in the library go? Why is there nothing being shown on it? The second thing is there are 5 linked discoveries associated with it, really big, and probably about 30 others that are in this shortish video, but the most important thing is it's come at a time when I'm in a serious crisis, one that changes everything. Let's get on with the story. I'll talk about the crisis towards the end. In 2003, a team of experts agreed to break through the wall of this library with the highest authorities being present and in control. There was probably a door that was concreted over, and it's probably this side of the library, but I've just shown it just for simplicity. Now, who was present? Monastery observers? Definitely. Chinese government observer? Definitely. A team of scholars? Well, they found it in the first place and took it to the monastery people. Highest authority of the monastery agreed, yes, they will be present when they break through the wall. And of course an elite observer. Why do I think there's an elite observer? Well, it's because there's been a cover-up of the most highest you can imagine right from the beginning. This is what the first stories look like. It's a remarkable discovery. 84,000 handwritten sutras and scrolls found in Tibet's Sakya Monastery Library in Tibet. Sakya Monastery. They show these sort of pictures and they talk about sutras and scrolls providing insights into humanity's history dating back 10,000 years. July 2003. Where are the scrolls? This is what sutras look like. You can see them quite clearly. But then they show images like this. Walls and walls of a library. 84,000 manuscripts. We are looking for recovering information and detail. What were on these ancient scrolls? And where did they go? And who's behind hiding it? You need to start from ground zero again to know the area. Tibet over here. So my Atlantis theory is humans colonized this island well over probably 15,000 years ago, sometime around there, before a big event caused the end of the era and a great flood. And they colonized all these lands, right through into even South America and North America. But let's look at this area here, the Indus and Khmer civilization. In my studies, I show all the beginnings of ancient civilization here with linked knowledge. There's Tibet, sacred 7-headed dragon, it's all here. I have 3 big star maps of this area. Star map Indus, star map Angkor, and star map of India. And we're also going to be looking at UFOs flying over deities, depictions, and some of the secrets behind that, and UFO murals in China. And of course, the 7-headed serpent with a deity interacting with it, and a UFO. This is the star map that the Indus civilization seemed to depict in this tablet. It's a replica of a scroll seal. And it's the connection between Mars and the Indus, and the Hindu, and even the Cathars, but that's all in the 2-hour documentary. But it leads to star map Angkor. So we have this lion's face, if you can see it here, 2 eyes, mouth open. 1 star target is on the nose. Here are the star targets that I'm showing that it replicates. 1 on the nose, the Mars face being that one, Sol 1, and the Pleiades and Sol 3 here. Pleiades, Sol 3. Here's Orion's belt showing the way on the back of the cosmic line, exactly as it's shown in this scroll seal with the tree of life and more. But let's rather just keep it basic for now. 2-hour documentary. At the end of this video you'll see the whole lot. How it led to Angkor Wat. Okay, there is the place that everybody goes to visit. anybody traveling to the area will know Angkor Wat. This is the most visited area of Angkor, but the most sacred part is down here, and there are now trips going to it. It's the area of Rolyos. Show the area right down here, Rolyos. One amazing pyramid ruin. It also has the water causeway, just like you see over here, surrounding it. And then 7 temples, which I believe represent the Pleiades. Now look at the shape of this area. 2 big mabons, big water storage areas. I believe it matches the stars of Perseus. They have used Perseus to show the way. These 2 like legs of a stick man. And you follow down the heel part of the leg to get to the Pleiades, but it's this one here that aligns with Sol 3. With that one, Pleiades. And then I found the missing canal. It's now proven in my Angkor Wat video, so you can look for that video. And of course, star map Om, the secret of the Om symbol. I found out, you'll see in the 2-hour documentary, there's a nebula effect that creates the origin of the swastika, how the ancients believed it was a sacred area of the sky that shows the way, and you follow Orion's belt through the V of Taurus to the Pleiades area and these 3 little sun-like stars. And it's interpreted as a swastika here, shooting through the bullseye. Yep, that's Taurus, that's the bullseye. I believe this origin is, without doubt, depicting the bull. Shooting through the bull to find a sun and an exoplanet. But these are 3-pronged fork showing a trinity, 3 suns. And it's not surprising that this very, very, very important artifact that any Hindu will tell you that they put on their doors for important reasons. It's very sacred, and take it with a pinch of salt. That if anything, my work proves that it's better than just something sacred. It shows the place of our origins, and there's those 3 prongs shown here to the place of our ancestors. So it's the swastika through the bullseye, showing in particular that one, and an exoplanet in crescent. Getting back to the scrolls, there's a little bit more we need to look at. It all happened in 2003. That's the size of the library, with 84,000 books broken through the wall that adjoins the rest of the building. First news releases claim there are records on astronomy and human origins. 2003, it's 2025 now. How can it have been hidden for so long? Well, in 2003, strange coincidence, that was when I launched my book. First book, Hidden Records, and I was watching it closely from there, but it seemed there was more bogus claims than there were real claims, so it was already under attack. So it was hard to see what was going on. This is one of the screenshots. I've taken the most important part of it. First of all, it's the Sakya monastery in Tibet, okay? And important parts of information I've highlighted here. 84,000 books, philosophy, astronomy, and human origins. So there are works of history, philosophy, astronomy, and human origins. That is one of the last pieces. You won't see it anymore in the new Wikipedia references. But the monks maintain a digital library and are apparently going to show everything in the library in time. They've only done a small part, but what are they really showing, and who is in control? In one sentence, for me to see astronomy and human origins together, I know there's a link, and there's just too much missing after that, because something changed very drastically just after this news release. So the news release statement from the wall excavation team, whoever they are, which we're going to check out, days later defined what they witnessed seeing in the library. They witnessed something in a very short time frame. Some news reports said the very ancient topics here were from 10,000-year-old foreign ancient scrolls. So there's more than just the records of the sutras here for Buddhism. Massive deductions made in a small time frame. Keep that in mind to start with. So, were there writings on astronomy that they could see in such a short time frame very quickly to say, hey, there's stories about astronomy? Unlikely. There would have been depictions, and they probably would have found them not in the sutras because they don't want anybody touching the sutras. They let them look at the foreign documents, and they probably saw star maps. That was the first part. But now what would they see to say human origins are part of it? Because these would be in ancient languages, and that's going to take a long time to translate. They would have seen an illustration. Would it have been that? Very unlikely. Would it have been this? Absolutely possible, because remember, this is the area of the Indus history. The story of the Mars star map that the Indus civilization knew very, very well, with the human code, seeing the Vitruvian man with stars, human origins comes to mind. I believe this is what they found, and this is what's being hidden. And we need to try and see what was hidden. So the cover-up began. It was such a big cover-up that the experts were no longer on record or able to be contacted. So there's first clue. The monks have secured dominion of the library from that day. They promised to reveal copies of the codices. All stories had follow-up saying the claims were not accurate. So here the cover-up really set in hard. It took about 6 months, and there were some very serious stories saying it's all rubbish. There's nothing of importance here. Claim of 10,000-year-old Tibet library, fine, not worth paper it's written on. That's a fact checker, and of course they actually laugh at this 10,000-year-old manuscript story part of it as well. So from that day forward, I can't believe it's been covered up so well. The reasons now are the wall was sealed. One is obviously there was many forbidden records. So what forbidden records would scholars argue about? And they will say, well, it was opposing variations of Buddhism. Is there a section of fragile Buddhism works that could be thrown in to say, yes, that's worth sealing it up? Fragile Buddhism works, they would still put them aside in the library, but not close the wall off completely. That doesn't really make much sense. It's partly possible, but there's something way bigger to go to this extreme loss of a huge library. And here it is. There are also forbidden foreign ancient records. This is the part that went missing with the cover-up. And there's links, in my opinion, to these records showing some of the variations of Buddhism that made this monastery uncomfortable are based on other ancient records around the world. So it kind of proves that there's a little bit more to some of the forbidden Buddhism works, perhaps. So that's basically where I think the reason is why they covered up this amazing library. There's been 2 decades of silence, and it's been forgotten. The digital copy library, you can go online now, just type in www.84000.co, not .com, .co, press enter. You'll see less than 5% of what they have made digital, and guess what they're showing? The content are only works fitting already known Buddhism teachings. So, there is a controlling factor in here that is protecting this monastery. So the monastery is in full control. What has been taken out is no longer there, no doubt. But here's one final little question. What sutras might have been chosen to become hidden records? Those sutras, I think, are not going to be shown. Although that library is full of them, nobody's got access to them. So, what sutras? And I think it's sutras relating to the coming of Maitreya. Who is Maitreya? In Buddhist traditions, Maitreya is prophesied to be the next Buddha. Maitreya, that does sound familiar. We've seen it in a Hollywood movie as well. In a kids' actual entertainment science fiction movie. And here's fact number 1. His coming is said to usher in a golden age of religion and civilization. Now I'm looking at 5 matching claims of a future world savior event shared by both Buddhism and Christianity. So here's one that is extracted from Wikipedia. The cyclical nature of history is thus part of the Maitreya myth. Buddhists believe that there will come a time of Dharma decline in which social order and morality in the human lifespan will decline. We can see that, time of chaos. This is exactly the same as Revelations, how we have a match with Christianity. But there's another one that threw in here, and human lifespan will decline. Well, just had a terrible, let's call it, pandemic. I don't think there's any problem mentioning it. It's a virus, whether it was started man-made or not. Let's not go too deep into that right now. But lifespan is declining. After people have had this virus, it's attacking parts of the human body, organs, and mitochondria. So what's happening is people are dying much, much earlier than they should. There will be war, sickness, and famine. This is exactly what Christianity and Book of Revelation say. He personifies the cross and the swastika teachings. Okay, he personifies. That's me putting a slash there because I believe they're both the same. I showed in my 2-hour documentary. He wears the swastika on his chest for a very good reason. And he arrives with a 7-head dragon. Now, this is a sacred event coming out of a lotus conduit, and he has 7 cosmic dragons. That's exactly the same as the book of Revelation, where the man holding 7 stars has the sun behind his head, speaks about who he is and where he comes from. He's the Alpha and the Omega, if you need to know what that means, in my 2-hour documentary. And there's this living plasma conduit with 7 heads, and he brings 7 teachings forward that it can save humanity. And I've shown from the alien message that we're going to look at briefly. First contact in the alien message is given as the 2nd of August 2027. So I'm the one that started that 2027 claim of first contact. Back in 2016 I published all that information. So any story that followed after 2016, well, guess where they got it. Okay, then of course my Atlantis story, how it ties in with that alien message. This is where they planted that alien message right here. There's the remains of the old rivers that I believe made the 2 circular canals. The mines are there. You can see the video on my Atlantis story, or just the 2-hour documentary at the end. It's all there. And this is what it looked like from a drone shot. White pigmented crop circles. So it pushed down the crop. These are big crop fields, but it indented the field, and then it was pigmented with a white pigmentation. I'll go through that story, how amazing it is, and how it is the same thing that made these indentations created the pigmentation. You'll see how that happens. But it has the 2 exit marks to spot here. This is the ancient message of 2027. And then I looked at the strange little bit of curvature of these 4 on the edge. I recognize it's an ancient computer punch tape code. Our first computers used this code. And all we have to do is work out the field with the grid reference, and there's the message decoded. And the star map of Orion rising and setting. Now, the importance with this story, especially today, is the Christian dragon connection. Christianity has made the dragon evil, that the beast, the 7-headed dragon, is something destructive. It's coming with the messenger because it's part of creation. It's proving who they are and where they come from. The people that are in this event, looks like through a portal here, where this person that takes in the Christ title or Maitreya title or whatever you want to call this person, all different religions have a prophecy of this event. This is the Messiah that is coming, I believe, in 2027, 2nd of August. Okay, I showed the dragon, the Christ story. This is all in the 2-hour documentary. I'm just going to briefly go over it. The Chiro effect, it shows the connection with the Pleiades. They're the 3 sun-like stars. There's Orion's belt. Okay, all of that is in the 2-hour documentary, but for now, just take the basis of it. There's the importance of the Christ story, or the second coming, or this first contact event involving the dragon, or 7-headed dragon. A child's story, back in the day, 80s I think it was, the child's name was Maitreya. Coincidence? Kind of experimenting how children would understand this, what they called a luck dragon. And of course the Pink Panther I've thrown in here. Did this artwork inspire 7 heads of a dragon appear near this first contact, first messenger event? Now looking at Maitreya, there's the swastika. Look at the heads of the 7 dragons coming up behind him, and then there's something behind the head of the Buddha, and he is sitting on a lotus flower that is opening. Look at all those secret symbols. Look closely at what's behind the head of the Buddha. Most likely the sun disk, just like in Christianity, a halo, a sun disk, just like in ancient Egypt. Is it such a bad thing that our ancestors like to show this as a crown title with them? And then obviously once wore crowns to show that is the cosmic conduit, is a symbol for the cosmic conduit. But the 7 dragons are to 7 stars, in my opinion, that I've showed in my work. Now, that is pretty much what we're getting now with the cosmic messenger in Christianity. And he comes on behalf of the cross instead of the swastika. It's just ancient teachings of the same thing. Looking at my 3-hour documentary, discovering what the Shen artifact shows, the entity coming out of that lotus flower, there it is there, just like in Buddhism, cosmic serpents and 3 suns. 3 suns, okay, so I showed this general sort of picture of it here. It's found in the Louvre Museum. Now in Buddhism, the initiate emerges out of a lotus conduit, okay, but then where are the 3 suns? Like that, it should show something like that. And would you believe the ancient records of Buddhism speak of a solar trinity? They call it the Trikaya, okay. I've left this open for people to come back and press pause, but it's the concept of a Buddha has 3 distinct kayas or bodies. Okay, remember they personify sun stars with deities. So to understand them as bodies, that's fine. But I'm saying that there are definitely 3 sun-like stars tied to the story. And there's an ancient record that seems to show it. It's this one right here. There's the conduit opening where the Buddha was sitting. And it shows this big light orb. And lots of deities of importance with the crown of the suns behind it. But then it shows 3 important. And that's probably the reference to the 3 sun connections to the Buddha. And it shows entities protecting and interacting. And look at these dragon-like cosmic conduit plasma ribbons coming off, even here on these pictures, even on the clouds. All makes sense when you understand the realism of the plasma ribbon that comes from the tree of life creation. Ancient Sumer, a deity with bull horns because he's from Taurus, and multi-headed dragon, one in the future that is chopped off. Keep that in mind while we're looking at it, okay? Why would it show that? At Angkor Wat, there is the 7-headed Nagas, the tree of life probably behind it here. And in Egypt, they show very differently with this Uerus here, but look, there are the other 6, shown with one primary, 6 less important, and not usually with sun stars beneath it. Egyptian records showing deities coming out of the lotus flower, 3 pillars to represent 3 suns as a crown. Ancient records of the 7-headed dragon. Now I've got references to the source. I want to look at just the patterns that they chose in this esoteric manuscript, because I think it shows that 3 sun-like stars with 3 exoplanets near the Pleiades. That's a star map. And the story of the Vatican is coming into play now with this Maitreya and the Revelations messenger. The 2-hour documentary will cover this in far more detail. Something very important beneath the Vatican, in the grottos, Vatican grottos, they have a depiction of the dragons to match the Revelation prophecy and the detail that I have extracted. And the detail is absolutely mind-blowing, because I'm showing it here. You can press pause and go through it very slowly, because it does take a little bit of time going back and forth. Tree of life, stars of the Pleiades, 3 suns, 1 with a crescent. 1 with a crescent. Wow. There it is, right there. But it's the one that's had its head lost. That's a very important connection here with future prophecy. And we're going to discuss that in this texture, but for now let's just keep it simple. On the other wall in the Grotto of Tombs, the 7 candles explained of the churches. The churches use, just like in Jewish tradition, the menorah, 7 celestial lights being celebrated on the altar. And there's a little bit more being shown here. It's the hand of the messenger showing he is the one that is near the 7 candles. He's teaching about the 7 candles. And what I show, the shape of the land that these candles are placed upon, it's pretty amazing, because it seems to be land where these candles are placed upon, okay? It's very coincidentally like the leg of the bull, that those candles match the Pleiades. Coincidence? Probably not. Looking at 7 serpent head deities with the Aztec, which are the later people of the Maya, their timeline, the most recent group of them were the Aztecs, are very barbaric, showing the 7-headed serpent dragon. There's a little bit more detail here. Look very closely. I think it's showing that. A solar trinity. Okay, so Egypt, a deity riding a cosmic boat with the lotus flowers on both bows, showing a cosmic portal, and the Senba tomb with 3 stars. I'm comparing this here to in Australia. There are pictures of the ancestors riding what looks like a lotus ship with cosmic openings, 3 stars rising on the horizon, a star of the gods, and an exoplanet. That's all in the 2-hour documentary. Let's get back now to how the Dalai Lama, I believe, fits the story. I had a near-death experience when I was racing motorcycles somewhere around about 1982. This is what I remember being, a light body looking down at myself. And there's this little silver cord that connects to me. But when it happened, I felt very calm, very collected, and like just understood. This is who we are. This is subconscious memory now that suddenly awakens, and this is where we come from. We've had many lives. The soul is eternal. And in that strange out-of-body experience, there was a lot of colors and depictions of color around me that I couldn't see myself because I was viewing from that point of view from there. Not with the eyes, but seeing with the all-seeing eye of the soul. Now, I've done a video about what happened in this near-death experience, so look for that video in my collection of videos, and explaining the out-of-body experience connected to the tree of life, how galaxies are connected to it. But there's something that I learned there, and I knew that the soul, in time, could learn how to have out-of-body experiences. And I got into the ritual of fasting, don't eat meats, next to a very important river, in a cave or over a granite area. I would go into meditation. And I was very lucky to live in a house by the side of a river at the time in Pietermaritzburg, South Africa, that in the early morning, mind awake, body asleep, I could go through the ritual. And then one day, mind started calling on the light. Light illuminated my retina. I think it's like a feedback where the cosmic conduit comes through the earth, comes through to the back of your retina while you're lying in bed, and it's connecting, and you're asking to please show me important things. That was my little ritual of words that I used in the early morning. Show me important things. Guide me, please. And then this picture formed on my retina. Very interesting, beautiful green garden. Okay, that was on August the 20th, 1996. 5 a.m. Early morning ritual, mind awake, body asleep. I call upon the light. Achieve an altered state of mind. I see bright colors starting where my retina connects to source, the tree of life. But this time I seem to see something of a garden. I ask for the light, please, to show me important things. Help me, please, find a loving soul to be my partner in this journey. One who is unique, dedicated, and a humanitarian soul. One who has literary skills to help me document my discoveries. I was very emotional at that time of my life because I was on my own. I was lonely. I knew that to do what I'm doing, I need to document it, and I need somebody to write my books. My writing is pretty atrocious, as people can see in my website that have adjustments. My English grammar not good. Anyway, this garden area becomes crystal clear, and I'm wondering, am I out of my body or is it a vision? But I was still not sure whether it was an out-of-body experience or was it just a vision. But here's the interesting thing. Something happened. I was there, I could see my arms, the bright colors around me. Now I'm in this garden with that experience. So that is most likely an out-of-body experience. So from my point of view, there's the first clue that I was having an out-of-body experience. And then I saw an old couple in this garden. They were nurturing it and picking flowers. And I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. Who are these people? And then they disappeared. Probably went inside their home. And then what I thought was the Dalai Lama appeared. Now, I looked at this guy in his outfit, the way he looks, just like the Dalai Lama. He did something. He beckoned me to go through a wall, which is the next door neighbor. Now, there's old people here. This guy's telling me to go through a wall. Okay, this is a bit too scary. Maybe I'm going to die. Maybe this is the end of my life. And I panicked. So I came out of the trance. Interesting little coincidence here. Why this Dalai Lama appeared in my vision. The Dalai Lama visited South Africa at the time I was doing this early morning ritual. And the question that I'm asking now is, does he do this sort of thing in the early mornings? And being so close to somebody else doing it, there's probably rare people doing this sort of thing, doing the connecting to light in a very powerful way. 2 OBE, out-of-body souls, both connecting to Source, both exploring the same quest to save humanity, both crossing paths in the very same time and space, one new to the ritual, one very experienced. Would the experienced one know the other's quest and offer guidance? Yes. I now ask all followers of Buddhism to debate this video and hope the Dalai Lama himself gets to see if he remembers if it was him in this moment. Would you believe on the other side of that wall is the home of where my partner Birgit Lederer lived. Back in that year, she would probably be asleep in bed. So if I went through that wall, I'd probably not even know why this is all happening, because it's very confusing. And I only found this out when we revisited her home and realized, hey, this is the one I saw in my vision. I mentioned there's a crisis unfolding here. Birgit has been very, very sick, deathly sick. The last few months she's been in bed with the virus, reoccurring 3 times in a row. And what it does to the body is it starts eating away at your red blood cells. She nearly died. And thanks to a flame keeper and a very close friend loaning some money, we've managed to get the right medication for her, and she is now recovering. But the 4th infection has just occurred now. I've got it as well right now while I'm doing this. We've got COVID again. Now, why is this such a crisis? Because since I started this work in 2003, I have been attacked from a dizzy height, from books being blocked, books being attacked in storage, rescuing books overseas, cyber attacks. This has gone on, and lately it's picking up again. And I'm not going to manage. I can't even. We've been eating badly for, the last 20 years we've eaten on a shoestring budget. You can't live healthy when you're eating very, very cheap foods. It's a big treat to go to a restaurant. Those days are gone. It's so tight now. If I don't get my Patreon account to take off from more than $200 a month, that's all it is, $200 a month that we're literally living off. My books are not selling. If you go look at my book on Amazon, look at the sales at the time of doing this video, 2025. It's almost invisible. You can't even find it. My website's been attacked. I've had it recovered. My YouTube is sort of working, but again, I'm stuck on a weird figure of 11,000 subscribers for 10 years. It just won't pick up. I don't know why. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Let's maybe take the blame for that. People can only find me when they go and look for me with word search, with refined word search. But I'm asking you now, please, if you can see the value in what I'm doing, please join my Patreon mission, my quest to try and bring this information forward. Because if my information is not visible in 2027, when scholars need to see what this messenger is saying, that he's tied to my history, and all my work is lost and hidden, then scholars are going to say, don't believe this messenger, let's attack them. So there's a very important part that I also want to bring forward. Now, I'm being hacked by people that work for the 1%. I'm trying to save the 1% because there's a little twist of fate here. This is all going to fail. The trouble with the future, remember the 1,000 years of peace that's mentioned in Revelation? We are not a part of it. This is all for our ancestors to recolonize again. So I think it's pretty unfair that none of us on earth get to survive the Wormwood event. And what if that Wormwood event could be avoided? And this is where my work and what I'm doing, promoting, and what the Flame Keepers are doing, are trying to show there's a way that all of us can get a chance, change our ways, and the rich can save the poor. Big deal. Rather than them being taken away or being cast to hell through a stargate. I'm going to show you a bit about that as well. They can be a part of an amnesty period and use their great wealth to save humanity and make the changes. I'm not going to talk about global warming. People have to be stupid to think that it's not real. But we're going to lose our crops now. In this next 12 months, you're going to see crop failure on a grand scale. I just take that with a pinch of salt now, because you can laugh at global warming. Watch what happens with extreme weather with global warming. This is the part where we wake up, and we have got time to make changes. These are my 3 books. Okay, I'm just trying to put it in perspective, the content and how it works. The websites basically cover all of the basics of this, and YouTube as well. That's free. Books are for people that can afford them, but I'm also selling my ebooks directly online, or you can do it through Amazon. But the ancient star maps with identical sun-star targets are found with all ancient civilizations, proving we all came from the same star ancestors. All of us are equal and sacred. Now that's where I found out I had a problem. My quest is driven by a sense of responsibility. Okay, so I saw the future with my near-death experience, saw that we're not a part of it. That freaked me out for at least 10 years. I didn't want to be a part of anything with that. But with time, it played in my mind, there must be a way around it, and that's what I found. There is a way. All on Earth and the planet itself can have a future. My work, Visibility, is the only way to prove the sacred motives of the ancients and their ties to all humanity's origins in first contact. So this is why we need to believe in them. If my work is visible, the greatest scientists in our world will be able to show, yes, what they're saying is true, it's not fiction. But if my work is hidden, this is what's going to happen. It's just going to go through with its general prophecy of the 1%ers being removed, cast to hell. It doesn't have to be like that. In first contact, the 1% are going to claim an invasion. So the general plan up to now, if they make me invisible, they're going to say it's all bad aliens and don't trust them, let's shoot at them. But prophecy claims the 1% are cast to hell. Who are these 1% according to the ancients? The highest of high. The monarchy, families, the people that are the manipulators. Wormwood, Earth life extinction event takes place. So my pledge is, if I remain visible, saving the planet and both the 1% and the 99%, where I promote amnesty if the super wealthy fund the change to a resource shared economy. What is a resource shared economy? It's a big difference. A resource shared economy, no more wars fighting over land, minerals or trade. People don't realize it, but this whole Ukraine thing, Ukraine is one of the greatest mineral deposits on the planet. And yeah, they will go to war for it. It's not about the people, it's all about money and profit. The high cost of living crisis for the 99% will end if it's a resource shared economy. Catastrophic profiteering by the 1% must end. And free education and real health care. Very, very simple things, but it make a big difference to the suffering on the planet. 7 seals broken according to the Revelation prophecy that can save humanity. Press pause, come back and read these 7 points. These are 7 points that I saw in my near-death experience as being important topics that are going to be addressed. If this is what the new cosmic messenger addresses, then it is safe to trust. If it's completely different to this, I would say no, it'll be a false flag event. This is where I'm trying to get people to join me to help keep all of this visible. Please, if you want to be a part of something really massive, and when you leave this world one day, you'll be able to stand in front of the tree of life and creation saying, I was a part of the change. That is a big difference, but only if you're a part of really making a difference. There's Patreon, I have PayPal as well with donations, or just click super thanks on the YouTube videos. So what star maps are we talking about? Let's go a little bit further into this. There's a story that ties in Buddhism. Okay, so what we have is a Mayan vase that's expanded view. Okay, that piece joins with that piece. So we have snake in a cosmic tree. Okay, it looks like the tail of a rattlesnake. Funny face coming alive with the cosmic tree. The deity, or the person that's important, a king of the ancient Maya. He's got 3 dots inside his body. Looks like a hat that's not on his head, but it's flying above his head. 3 dots on this utterance. A blowpipe that he's shooting at a bird in a tree. I'll show you the detail more. And this tree has 3 in a down-pointing triangle of suns and planets, in my opinion. And our sun, which is positioned in Scorpio and viewed from Scorpio. So let's just make it a little bit clearer. There are those 3 that I believe are the 3 sun stars, that this personification deity personifies our ancestors from these 3 suns. And then we have the utterance speaking about probably using the belt stars of Orion to find it. Okay, looking at an expanded view now. Let's go into more detail. There are those 3 suns, and he is using either a rod or a blowpipe. It might have a deeper meaning. Just keep thinking about what it is. Shooting at a bird. There's the face of the bird, mouth open. Looks like an eagle eye. Okay, so it's some sacred bird above the tree of life, and our 3 suns being connected to the tree of life with exoplanets, and our sun below it, further away. When you look from this area into the area of Scorpio, you will see our sun resides right here where it shows you this little piece. And they're all connected by these plasma ribbons. Okay, tree in the cosmos, place where I had my near-death experience, has the cosmic serpent with the tree all merging as one. And I've shown all that merges together with plasma ribbons. Okay, now we have the flying hat that comes, it looks like, out of a portal. I believe that's a UFO. This is what the visitors used. Okay, so I'll take that whole explanation. Pleiades possibly at the end of the tail of the rattlesnake. But if that's the Pleiades and this connects to there, then it's right here. Yes, the Pleiades are right near these 3 suns, so that's all correct. So that's just the Mayan story of creation. Now look at the Chinese story of a man riding a dragon. It's called, there's the Chinese description of it at the Hunan Museum, 2,300-year-old Zhou dynasty. A flying umbrella without a stand, with these little pieces coming off. Now that's quite interesting because there's one coming off the deity as well. So in my opinion, you can solve this because there's one coming off what they say is a cosmic dragon. There are the elements, filaments of plasma ribbon coming off with the same shape as that and that. So they're all basically connected. So let's try and make this a little bit clearer. Everything that's illuminating is connected. Open the mouth parts of the dragons. I put eyes where it looked like dragon faces. You can see this dragon face a lot clearer, and that one, and this one. But there's a bit more going on here. There's a bird. We just saw in the Maya one, there was a bird as well. How about that? So, what is that in the sky, do you think? I think the flying hat is the UFO, and it's connecting to the sea because there's a fish in the bottom piece. That's in my opinion. So what's so amazing about this? Well, is it a coincidence? The Pope's coat of arms are shown here with the flying hat, with the cosmic serpent ropes, with the cross of Lorraine as Orion, with the 3 symbols on his shield, in my opinion, are Pleiades for the grapes. That's a very common symbol I found for the Pleiades in ancient churches, vines connecting to grapes, and the angels riding along the vines. A star, a sun-like star, and the cross for the Christ. In this sign is the reference to IHS. That is my opinion. This is what it basically means. And his banner says, choosing with compassion in Latin. I think this Pope's going to join in with what I'm doing. I just hope he doesn't move to the dark side and call the visitors evil. There are many Maya depictions of deities riding cosmic serpents. That's an eye. Headphones on the dragon. Does that make any sense? He's got headphones. Yep, a lot of detail. So the Omega symbol. In Egypt, same sort of thing. Riding the cosmic serpent to the stars. It's sacred. They speak about how it connects, how the serpent connects with the soul. Birds again being depicted, and in the utterances. And of course an Egyptian depiction of the cosmic celestial ship with Ra riding it, traversing the heavens. He has his own terra firma that's in the sky, and a veil opening, and this rod again used to open the gate. And what do we see near the rod? Another bird to found civilization. Depictions in India. This one is in Halipidu. You can see there are no handles on the umbrellas, but these swirling cosmic wisps coming off it and look like fingers coming out of it. And why I refer to it as fingers? Because in the baptistry of San Giovanni in Fonte in Naples, we're going to look at that now up close, there's a mural on the ceiling that looks quite amazing. It's been digitally restored. It's what's happening up here. This is the cross of Orion. Follow the cross, the two brightest stars of Orion on that position. Let's just quickly show you two brightest stars. So this is not the full chi row. This is my cross, the extended cross that I showed you. Pleiades on the one element, and the two on each side of Orion is the other element. Okay. And what we have is the P for the Pleiades at the top of it. And of course something happening up here. So just zoom in a little bit there, and you'll see the detail. Okay, first of all, come back and press pause. You can read about the description of the chi row, how it has evolved in history. But closer view, I don't believe that is a human hand or a physical human body hand of creation of the Christ of anybody. But it's not gripping the serpent, it's the filaments as this that comes out of another symbol for the cosmic conduit is the wreath. You see that in churches all around the world, and I've shown it in my 2-hour documentary, and that the UFO literally rides the cosmic serpent, so it's in a way holding on to it, but these are wisps of plasma coming down from it. And if you look closely here, there's a little bit of a reflection of something that's very mysterious. To me it looks like a grey, a cherubim, probably just a coincidence, and that's what I show, that's what I think it's depicting, the UFO. Just like in ancient Chinese depictions, the filament beneath it and more filaments below that connect with the ships that fly in ancient times that were not of this earth. Coins that show a little filament beneath it. There's another one, filament beneath it. Why haven't aliens and UFOs not officially shown themselves? Is there some sort of universal ethical procedure at play? Definitely. It's time to know the truth. The universal law of this cosmic visitor needs to be understood. Go back to the time when we first colonized the earth, first at Atlantis, and spread throughout the world, okay? The star travelers who lay claim to a blue planet will from this day forward carry universal law responsibilities. So if all these space travelers that are colonizing worlds, probably like our ancestors did, are following universal law. This is reasoning and logic at its highest now. They will be responsible for the future welfare of the planet and its people. If one day in the future its people survive a disaster and its people are reduced to primitive living, then it must not ever be interfered with. And we've seen what's happened in our history after the Great Flood. People that were the descendants of the great colonization event forgot where they came from, and they worshipped the visitors as gods. So things go very, very wrong in that sense. They need to re-evolve from scratch again, which is what we've done. However, if its people later become barbaric and inflict mass suffering upon others, or are a threat to the blue planet itself, that's where universal law states, no doubt, with reasoning and logic, this will require future intervention and action taken to solve the problem, stop the suffering, save the planet. And that's where it's all happening. 2nd of August 2027. At a time off these, where I found the alien message, there's going to be an eclipse off the coast of southern Spain. This is what worries me. That's probably going to be there because, they're watching what I'm doing. They know exactly what's going on, and they want to try and stop it. So think about what they're doing. If the dragon serpent appears, there's a planetary alignment that passes through the sun, the moon, through the earth, and the plasma ribbon can come out through the ocean, right at the place where they left the message in southern Spain. This is the living creational force that creates all life, all matter, time and space. Now it presents itself in this form. We'll understand one day, maybe quite soon actually. But would it be wise to shoot that which creates yourselves, life, matter, show disrespect towards it and destroy it, and shoot at it? And this is where the prophecy says one is shot and loses one of its heads, as you saw in the Vatican depiction and in the Sumerian one. That would be unwise. There's also going to be other boats in the area. They're all filming. They're all making copies of this to go on the internet later and to share with humanity. Probably some of them will be running live. My request is, please do not shoot at that which creates all life, that is appearing with these visitors. Show the visitors some respect, because if they want to, they can just destroy us in a blink of an eye. We need to show that we are worthy of saving and show them some respect. So that's my basic story. There's my star maps. This video ends now with just a quick recap on that. Thanks for watching. Please consider joining my movement of flame keepers.
With the earlier Sumerian clay tablets' precise version of the cosmic human origin star map, and how it matched the template at Stonehenge, would come the mindset that had Herschel set out to search the Atlantic Ocean seabed. It would be this clue that would culminate in this documentary's biggest revelation.
As the world was counting down to 2012, I was watching Google Earth, looking for ruins, refreshed my page, and I saw that. I recognized that curvature from somewhere. This could be a computer code. I think it's first contact. The ancients are returning. I've published a book, Herschel's Atlantis, and there's a 2-hour documentary you'll see at the end of the video. These are my 3 books. I'm trying to promote saving forests, $19 for all 3, 1 delivery. Please consider becoming a flame keeper in the here and now, or when you are gone, or as an activist. Please press pause and come back to this and you'll see the detail. But as a flame keeper, you become part of the quest to secure the interpretational copyright and visibility of the hidden records. That is the difference.